Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be making two different recipes. The first is Chinese BBQ Pork. Both these recipes I will put in the description along with where I got these recipes. Both were made on YouTube and were said to be very good, so I wanted to try them myself. They had pork shoulder on sale this week for 99 cents a pound at my local grocery store. So I got 4 pounds of it and wanted to see what I could use it with. So I chose this recipe. It is in a marinade that has 2 cubes of red bean curd plus 1 tablespoon of the juice. Mashed that together, and then 2 teaspoons of the hoisin sauce, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of Chinese cooking wine is optional, and I did not put that in it because I did not have it. 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, 2 tablespoons of honey, 1 tablespoon of Chinese 5-spice powder, a half a teaspoon of pepper, 2 cloves of garlic, and whisk it together. And then I just put I cut the meat into chunks and poured the juice over it and let it set for 24 hours in the refrigerator. So I'm just getting it out of the bag now. And then what extra sauce I had, I just poured over the top. And then I'm just going to put this to the side for now. I know most people will cook two things at the same time. It just never works for me. I'm going to get the chow mein ready first and then put this into the oven to cook. So this is a sauce that goes onto the pork as it cooks. It's just honey and the red bean curd sauce, the juice that's in it. So I decided to double this recipe because I used 4 pounds of pork and the recipe called for 2 pounds. So I kind of doubled everything. I had never used the red cubes of the bean curd before. I had a hard time finding it. I had to go to a Asian market to find it. I'm voicing over this because there's just too many interruptions with my children coming into the kitchen. So I figured I would just talk over them. So after I add this, I'm just going to whisk this together and set it aside to just glaze the pork in between when it cooks. So. Or mash it with a fork, as I did. I thought it needed a little bit more juice, so I'm just adding some more to it. And I am not a clean cook. I make a mess. It's me. I love the videos where they don't make a mess, but it's just not. It doesn't happen in my kitchen. So I just set that sauce aside. I decided to go ahead and put deglaze it once and let it just set until I'm ready to put it in the oven. Now, I'm not pork. I make sometimes, but not a lot. I don't like a lot of fat on the meat, so some of this was trimmed beforehand just to get off the big pieces of fat before I cooked. And then I'm just going to set this. Now we're going to start on the chow mein. Okay, so the chow mein sauce is 2 tablespoons oyster sauce, 2 tablespoons soy sauce, a half teaspoon of rice vinegar, a half teaspoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of sambal, and 1.5 teaspoons of sesame oil. Now, I did end up doubling this because I didn't think it was going to be enough because I had bought two 12-ounce packages of the noodles, the Chinese noodles. So I thought that it needed more sauce, so I did double this. And then just mix it well with the whisk. And then I just cooked the Chinese noodles as the package directed, and that was just in boiling water for 5 minutes, uncovered. But then afterward, from the recipe, you took the noodles, put them on parchment paper, and just used a paper towel to try to get some of the moisture, some of the liquid off, to dry it. So that's what I did. And I used 2 pans, just trying to spread it out a little bit, be able to get a little bit more of the water off. Okay, so I don't have a wok. I used to, but I have not purchased another one in a couple years. So I'm just going to use this pan and putting some sesame oil in there. And then I'm just going to get that hot. And then I'm going to add in 1.5 cups of cabbage. I just bought a package of the thinly sliced 5 scallions, the white part, 2 celery sticks, and I slice them very fine, and then 1 medium carrot. I had baby carrots, so I just chopped very small, maybe like 8 or 9 baby carrots, 10, and then I put 6 cloves, minced cloves of garlic in as well. But the garlic I'm going to hold until I do the green part of the scallions, so that it doesn't get cooked too much. So I just cook this in the oil until it's pretty well cooked, softened. Once this is done, I'm going to remove it and put it back in the bowl. then I'm going to add some, I think it calls for a half a cup of sesame oil. I just put enough in there. Because now I'm going to add the ginger. Ginger. Scallions, but I think it's the other one we're going to put in there. So let's that. It's just ginger I chopped up really fine. And then just the green parts of the scallion and the garlic. And then just cook that a little bit. Not overcooking it because you don't want to burn it, but you want that nice fragrance. And after just a minute, you're going to add in the noodles. And then just stir that together. And like I said before, I'm a messy cook, and I'm okay with that. I just want to make sure everything gets mixed in well. And then after this, add in the vegetables back in that you've already cooked. Mix it nice and well again. And then I'm going to add the sauce that we've already made. And then just mix it well. It's going to take a little bit of time to get that sauce all the way through those noodles. But I'm glad I made the double batch because of the sauce, because it needed it. Okay, so I put that aside, and it's time to get the chicken into the oven.
It's gonna go in the oven.
And that's going to go in at 400. First, I'm put a little bit of sauce on. Put it in at 400 for 15 minutes, and then every 5 to 7 minutes, take it out and just glaze it again. The recipe said 30 minutes total cook time. And
okay, so now they need to set for about 10-15 minutes and just rest. Finish cooking. While I warm up the chow mein. So I'm going to warm that up right now.
Now warmed it up, but as I was cutting the pork was not done enough. So I ended up chopping it up in smaller pieces. Like you would find at the Chinese restaurant.
It looks really good.
And putting back in the oven for about another 10 minutes. And it turned out really good.
Okay.
So I would really cut it up and then put it back in for about 10 minutes. You could glaze it again to make sure it stays moist.
The chow mein. Because I had to warm it up a little bit. It's a little dry, but not too bad.
It's
Because I can't cook things that have to be done at the same time. It doesn't work. Now the pork is really good. Oh my god, it's so good. It gets a thumbs up.